Well, greetings, you lovely people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today is Lenovo Day. What does that even mean? Okay, well, it means that we're going to play with the Lenovo server that Lenovo foolishly, graciously loaned to us. Yeah, there it sits. Isn't that a nice little server? Yeah. I wouldn't recommend you do what I do, and that is have it sit behind you during the course of the day, because the fans have a certain harmonic resonance, and I'm a music guy. And so I find myself humming that frequency by the end of the day, and it drives me insane. So put these servers where they belong, in a rack, in a closet somewhere where you don't have to hear them, because they will slowly drive you insane. So I was chatting with the boys in the Discord chat thingy that I'm so fond of hanging out in, and you should be too. You should come over, check out our Discord link and join us over there. We talk about lots of stuff. And I was just like, dudes, what do I do with this Lenovo server? I've got all this raw power at my fingertips, and I've kind of run out of ideas to do things with it. And that's when Captain Radar and Jamie both said, hey, why don't you just cram as much stuff on here as you can? Make it like Microsoft used to have a product called Small Business Server. And this server just kind of did everything. You know, it was your mail server, it was your web server, it was your files server, it was your, again, it's a lot of times it's not a great idea to put all your eggs in one basket. But with the price of a device like this, which is, for a business, that's a reasonably priced machine. You can deck it out with any number of features or that you want to. But in essence, you have enough power with this machine to run domain controllers on there, to run virtual machines on there, and give your workforce the ability to work remotely or simply work with virtual machines, and give them access from home. There's no limit. Your imagination is the only limit to what all you can run on this server. So that's going to be what we're doing with this Lenovo server moving forward. Is we're going to build a business around this, and we're going to use Windows Server as our backbone, as our Active Directory for, to authenticate users and do group policies. Just it makes sense to use Windows Server 2019. We're also going to use the Synology NAS as some remote storage for this. I've got a couple Synology NASs we can connect up to this unit to use shared storage. We could run a firewall on here if we wanted to. We're probably going to end up running a Linux server, running Docker and Portainer. We're going to probably end up running self-hosted web solution on here. Maybe a dashboard of some sort. All kinds of neat stuff. So I'm asking you to suspend disbelief for a while, and pretend I'm a small business owner, and I've come to Unky Joe's Playhouse. I've said, Unky Joe, I need your help. I've got a small business. I've got 20 to 30 employees. I want to buy a big server. I want this big server to do everything I need it to do. And I want my users to be happy. I want to be fast, and I want to be efficient. I don't want a whole bunch of equipment, and I want you to take care of it for me. Okay, we can do that. I can make that happen. But how about redundancy, my friend? That's the big question. And the client is going to go to you, what do you mean redundancy? Well, failover. Okay, say for example, we put all of our stuff in one basket, with this Lenovo beast being the basket we put everything into. What if it fails? God forbid. The ideal thing would be to take this server, get it configured exactly the way we want it to, and then buy another server and mirror that setup on there and have failover or clustering. Does that make sense? Proxmox gives you the ability to do all that with open source software. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be pretending. We're going to be suspending disbelief, and I'm going to create a small business around this one server to rule them all, the Lenovo beast here. And we're going to show you how we set all that up and how it can all work together, and show you that this server really doesn't break a sweat with that kind of configuration. So I think what we'll focus on today is showing you what the plan is for this server. Maybe we'll set up some virtual machines. Maybe we'll just talk about the virtual machines we're going to set up and take you on a tour. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten that far. But it's going to be entertaining and informative, I can guarantee you that. So this is the Lenovo server that they have loaned to us, and you can see we've got 64 lovely cores of beautiful Xeon Silver 4314 CPU. We have 256 gig of RAM to play with. We have a 10 gig fiber NIC in there. We just have everything we need to make things happen. And as you can see, I've already started making some things happen. And because we have been building, stuff on here. So I've already installed Proxmox. I've already set up my shared storage. I have a connection here to my DS1621. And as you can see, I've got plenty of space free on that. I'm using NFS. I've got the flash station FS1018, and I've got about 700 gig free of their 1.2 terabyte fast SSD storage over the network. And then I have an ISO repository, as I showed you earlier, on my DS1621. And then I have this unit Lenovo sent this unit with 4 very fast Intel Optane SSD drives. I'm only using 3 of them. One of them I've got the OS installed on. That's this section of the local drive, and then I still have an LVM share available as well. That's got about 73 gig used of the 250, and then I've got these other 2 SSDs as well. And as you can see, I'm starting to put VMs out there. Now, I've been playing around with getting some containers running, and that's the beauty of Proxmox. You can run, they are not Docker containers, to be clear. They're LXC containers for Proxmox. So forget what I say about containers, meaning they're Docker images. They're not. But what we are going to do is we're going to bring up a server. We're going to spool up a Debian server and install Debian 10 on it. And then on that, we're going to install Docker and Portainer. And, Portainer is basically an interface to control all the lovely Docker interfaces. So now I've already also got a domain controller. We're calling this system LabNet30. .local is the domain name. So I've already got a domain controller set up here. What we'll do is we'll probably set up a secondary domain controller. But this primary domain controller is running DHCP, DNS, you name it, it's up and running for the subnet 30 network. And as you can see, I've got some information up here on the screen, and that's just mainly a visual reference, so I know where the hell I am on what server I'm on. Is because, as you can see, this can start to get a little confusing as we create more virtual machines. Now, one of the things I have already installed Active Directory on here. You've seen me do that before. Set it up as a domain controller, DNS, DHCP, etc., all the usual stuff. But what I have not done is gone out to 99 and gotten my little utilities. So let's just see if I can do that now. As you know, 99 is one of my favorite places I go to get all my applications, whether it be for servers or for workstations or whatnot. So I'm going to do Chrome and Edge. Let's see, I'm going to do Mozilla, Notepad, WinSCP, PuTTY. Now, one thing I wish they had in here is the new Windows terminal program, but they don't. I don't need media. I do need 7-zip. I don't need... Did I find WinDirStat? No, I don't see it. Oh, there it is, right here. WinDirStat. Okay. So let's get my Ninite. And we'll go ahead and run it. And yes. So we'll let this run. This shouldn't take too long. So as you can see behind me on the screen, this is it's got a quad 2.4 gig processor. The host name is DC01. The domain is labnet30.local. Login server labnet. How much memory I've got in this machine. What it's running, which is Windows Server 2019 Windows Service Pack. Username is Adama, and I've got 150 gig volume. So while Ninite's installing, let's go over here to Administrative Tools. And what I'm going to do, actually I could come here to Windows Administrative Tools. And I'm going to right click on DHCP. I'm going to send that to the desktop. I want to create a shortcut. Same way with DNS. I want to send that to the desktop. I want Active Directory users and computers on the desktop. And then group policy management just for giggles. And I think that should do it. Yes, it should. So again, I've got Active Directory set up, DNS already set up, and DHCP. So if you're going to follow along with this, you'll need to make sure you understand how to, set up your Windows Server as a domain controller. All right, so Ninite is done. So I'm going to click on Close there. So as you can see, we've got everything under control. Get everything installed we need. Now I want to go back into Server Manager one more time because I just want to make sure that I have remote access to this server. And I don't. See how remote desktop is disabled. I'm going to go ahead and enable remote desktop and apply. Now, by default, it'll give the person you're logged into access to remote desktop, which is great because it's also Adama, which is my, administrative user. So there I've got everything squared away on our domain controller, and it should be working for us now. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a new Windows 11 virtual machine that we can then use in this setup. So come up here to the top where it says Lenovo. I'm going to go create a VM. Oh, and what what better number? 111, huh? So we'll call this W11P-001. Okay. We're not going to start at boot. Let's do next. We're going to do an ISO, and we're going to choose this. I should have one here, a newer one, Windows 11 English, x64 v11 ISO, and it's going to be Windows. It's going to be Windows 11 or /22. Click on next. Now, it's very important that you pay attention here. We're going to just use default graphics card. We are going to set up as a Q35. We do need to have a UEFI BIOS. So we're going to specify where we're going to have that EFI disk at. So that is going to be over on Data 2. Now, Data 2 and Data 3 are just thin LVMs on my SSD storage on this Lenovo. You can also put them onto the Synology Flash Station, or you can put it onto the DS1621. I want it on fast local storage, so I'm going to select Data 2. I'm going to go ahead and put the QEMU agent in there. It just saves me a step later. Now, it's very important also that we have TPM storage for the Trusted Platform module. So we're going to change that. We're going to put that on data 2 as well. So with that being said, you should be good to click the next button. And then I'm going to set it up as a VirtIO block storage device. And I am going to give it, I could do SATA as well, or I could do SCSI. Let's see. You know what? Let's do it as a, what do they keep it as? I don't know why they set this as an IDE. That's just kind of, it just seems kind of silly to me. They would set that to IDE. We could set it to SATA. Let's set it to SATA. Let's just do that. And we'll give it a 60 gig hard drive. All right, I'm going to click on next. I'm going to give it 4 cores. I'm going to leave everything else alone here. I am going to give it 4 gig of RAM. And it's going to automatically set that up for a ballooning device, which means it'll actually assign RAM to this machine as the machine needs it. It's Hyper-V has the same function as well. So click on next. And then for network, they're going to, they choose E1000. I choose the VirtIO Para Virtualized. And this is going to be part of VLAN 30 because we're going to join it to this Active Directory domain controller that I have set up here as well. So leave that, change that to VLAN 30. Click on confirm. All right. It's going to go out and create the virtual machine. There it is, number 111. So I should, in theory, be able to come out here to the console, start it, and be ready to press any key. Bingo, gotta hit that space bar quickly. That's a good sign. It looks like it's booting. All right. So, I'm going to get you through the preliminary install. All right. I'm going to tell it I don't have a product key. If you do, you could enter one here. We're going to do a Windows 11 Pro. I'm going to accept the license agreement. We'll do a custom install. Now, because I did not use the VirtIO Para Virtualized, I'm able to see the hard drive here. You may not see your hard drive here. If that's the case, you'll need to load drivers by, you'll need to mount the VirtIO drivers. This is one of the reasons I use SATA when I do my install. It's just one less thing I've got to do. So, and it won't prompt you for that driver CD. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on next here. And then we'll let it install. And we'll come back once the preliminary, if I can say it, install is complete. All right, so we're up at the setup screen now. So let's get this all configured. Now, I would strongly recommend you do this without your internet hooked up. So I'm just going to tell it I don't have internet and continue with limited setup. And that'll alleviate a lot of those problems you have with setting up Windows 11, you know, having to have a Microsoft account and that kind of thing. So I'm going to enter Adama for the username. Enter our super secret password. All right, so now we have the security questions out of the way so we can turn off all this telemetry data. As a matter of course, I just turn all this off. You can do what you want with that. It's personal preference. And then eventually it should boot into the desktop. Now, all told, this process has taken about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes so far. All right, now we're up at the main screen, but you're going to notice we've got really kind of limited stuff on here because the machine cannot connect to the internet. So what I want to do here, I don't know that I can do this I want to change out the CD-ROM drive here from Windows 11 to our VirtIO drivers for Windows. So I'm going to try and do that now. And then I should have the ability to access that CD-ROM drive, and I do. Okay. So we're going to come down here to VirtIO WinGT x64. We're going to launch this installer. Next. Accept the license agreements. Next, etc. And what this will do is it'll install all the necessary drivers for your Windows 11 VM to communicate with Proxmox and get all of its resources. So it's a very important step you don't want to forget, or you could have trouble moving forward. And then the other one you want to run is the guest tools. So my guess is you can run this right here now. Let's see. Yep. So we'll get those installed. And then once we've installed those, I like to go ahead and reboot the virtual machine one more time. Let it restart. And then I'll show you what to look for on the summary screen. Now, because we told the machine to use the guest agent, you'll see that it is enabled. So if you had not enabled that on the initial install of Windows 11, this would be disabled. And that's why I said just go ahead and do it when you create the VM. That's one less step you have to worry about. Now, if we've done our job correctly here, and Windows 11 is up and running, we should see this guest agent pop up here momentarily. And you'll see now that it's got an IP on the 30 subnet, and it's running. It's communicating with Proxmox, and we should be able to now go out here and initiate a login. Just like that. Now, where this setup is a little bit different, but you can kind of see how it would come in very handy, is I have a couple of Windows 10 machines over here. The other thing I have on this Lenovo are video cards. I have two of them. I have a Quadro K620. I'm sorry. I have a Quadro P400 video card in there. And I have a AMD Radeon RX 560. And both of these video cards are passed through to virtual machines. So for the Windows 10 unit, Windows 10 Pro number 1, you'll see this has the AMD RX 560 video pass-through enabled. I'm not able to connect up via the console. That's one of the ways you know. This is not going to be a video about how I got this set up. I've done other videos on video pass-through. I just wanted to show you that I have two of these. So this is the other one, the Windows 10 Pro 002, and this one has the NVIDIA P400 in pass-through mode. Both of them are working. So this gives us a couple of video or a couple of virtual machines that have the ability to do video editing, to do transcoding, to do video related tasks like maybe some CAD 3D design, that kind of thing. In addition to the fact that we're going to have other Windows 10 virtual machines that just have normal, just have normal virtual machine video, including Windows 11. But I wanted to make sure on this server that I got a good mix of things, so you can see how we can take all this technology we're learning and apply it in the real world in a big, in a big environment. So we're going to pretend this client needs a couple of virtual machines with video card pass-through. We have that with those 2 Windows 10 units. So the progression of events has been that we've gotten Proxmox loaded on this Lenovo server. Thanks again, Lenovo, for loaning us this server. We've already created a domain controller on here. We've created a couple of Windows 10 workstations with video pass-through. We've got a Windows 11 machine that we created here on the fly. We've got our shared storage set up. We've got our ISO repository set up. We have our data repositories on the SSD drives or the NVMe drives that are internal on this, or that are in drive sleds on this Lenovo. So this is like part 1 of this series of videos. We're going to be doing, like I said, a lot more with this Lenovo server and with Proxmox, just to give you an idea of some of the capabilities of it. So the next time when we come back, we'll do another topic on this Lenovo, and hopefully you'll find it useful for you. So again, it's probably not best practices to create one server to rule them all and put all your eggs in one basket. But at the price of servers these days, there's no reason you can't buy 2 servers and just have them in a cluster to where if one fails over, it'll fail over to the other, or even keep one of these servers offsite. I don't know. There are lots of ways to skin the cat, as they say. But if you have redundancy, then there's no reason you need to fear running everything on one server. And then if you had 3 servers, wow, you could really move stuff around as much as you needed them. And I'm telling you, folks, there's nothing wrong with this idea that I have. If you can afford a couple of reasonably priced high-performance servers, they will probably last you the length of your business, and you'll be able to run, whatever you need on them. So it's just again, this is just a thought bubble. We were kicking around with the guys on Discord, and I thought, yeah, let's give it a try and see what kind of problems or we might run into, and so far none. And I thought it would be a good test for this wonderful Lenovo server. So hopefully you agree. And hopefully you found this video entertaining and informative. So please give us a thumbs up down below if you liked it. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and click that notification bell to be notified when new videos come out. If you'd like to support the channel, we accept Patreon, PayPal, YouTube join function, all that good stuff. If you want to send us some products, go for it. Let me know if you need it. In the About section is more data on our channel with links to Discord and whatnot. So, yeah. So thanks again for coming to see us. Come back and see us again real soon. And don't forget, we'll see all of you on the other side.